There is a quiet revolution unfolding, not in the streets, not in politics, but within the invisible corridors of human perception. It begins with a single unsettling question. What if everything we call reality is only one channel among infinite broadcasts, and consciousness is the remote control? For centuries, the guardians of power, governments, media, institutions, have built walls around our perception. They have taught us to believe that reality is rigid, linear, measurable, and beyond our influence. But every new scientific discovery chips away at that illusion. The deeper physics looks into matter, the less matter it finds. The closer neuroscience looks at the brain, the more consciousness appears to exist beyond it. The real fear of those who rule this world is not rebellion, it is awakening. An awakened mind cannot be ruled because it no longer plays inside the same game board. It moves to a different one entirely. Imagine consciousness not as a passenger trapped inside a body, but as a navigator steering between infinite Earths, each one already existing, each one tuned to a specific frequency. The Bashar teachings call this dimensional navigation. Quantum physics calls it the many worlds interpretation. The mystics of every age simply called it awakening. Different names, one truth. Reality is not fixed, it is selected. From childhood, we are taught the opposite. That consciousness is a side effect of chemicals, that fate unfolds like a domino line, that you are small, finite, replaceable. But the real story, the one ancient traditions and modern physics now converge upon, is that consciousness is the primary field and matter is its echo. When your beliefs, emotions, and intentions change, your frequency changes. And when your frequency changes, you tune into a different version of reality. You don't create new worlds, you navigate among the infinite ones already existing. That is the ultimate forbidden science. Not alchemy of metals, but alchemy of vibration. A knowledge that makes external control impossible, for a being who knows how to shift their frequency can never be trapped. The elites understand this perfectly. They do not fear those who protest, they fear those who wake up. Because when you wake up, you stop fighting within their system. You simply move to a version of reality where their system no longer exists. That is real rebellion. Silent, inner, and unstoppable. Look at the world around you. Endless fear in the news, division in politics, scarcity in economics. It is not chaos, it is orchestration. The constant broadcast of low-frequency emotions anchors humanity into the same narrow slice of the multiverse, one where control and dependency thrive. But every now and then, someone tunes out. They begin to notice how their inner state reshapes their external world. They witness coincidences aligning with thought, emotions altering circumstances, reality bending around belief. At first they call it luck, then they call it synchronicity. Finally, they realize it is navigation. The shift is simple yet profound. Reality is not happening to you, it is happening through you. The observer is not passive. You are the selection mechanism, the cosmic tuner deciding which frequency of Earth to inhabit at each moment. Every emotion, every belief, every act of imagination is a steering wheel across dimensions. The physics behind it is not fantasy. Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation, once dismissed, now sits at the heart of quantum theory. Every possible outcome exists simultaneously. David Deutsch expanded it further. These worlds constantly interact, subtly exchanging information. Your consciousness, being quantum in nature, may be the bridge that travels across them. This convergence between science and spirituality is not coincidence. It is the long-separated halves of truth meeting again. Ancient mystics already described the world as Maya, illusion, dream, frequency. They learn to move between realities through meditation, sound, and intention. What they discovered through stillness, quantum physics rediscovers through mathematics. Each thought, each emotion is a frequency signature. Anger tunes to one reality, gratitude to another. Fear locks you in one universe. Love sets you free into countless others. And this is why the system floods you with fear, because it cannot operate in love's vibration. The implications are breathtaking. It means every possible version of you already exists. The one who succeeded, the one who healed, the one who transcended. You do not have to create them, you only have to tune into their frequency. You have done this unconsciously many times. Every deep transformation, every moment when life suddenly shifts after an inner realization, is a jump. You think you just changed perspective, but in truth, you move to another universe where your new perspective is already reality. This is the cosmic mechanism of manifestation. It is not about forcing the world to obey your will, but aligning your vibration with the world where your desire already exists. The universe does not resist you. It simply mirrors your frequency. You cannot attract abundance while broadcasting scarcity, just as you cannot tune a radio to joy while transmitting fear. Once you grasp this, effort turns to resonance. The struggles that once consumed you lose meaning because you realize you were never trapped inside one storyline. You were simply tuned to it. But what happens when humanity collectively changes frequency? When millions begin to raise their vibration from fear to coherence, from separation to unity? The answer is civilization shift, literal movement to a parallel Earth where harmony is the baseline, where old systems of control dissolve not by revolution, but by resonance. That is why knowledge like this is suppressed. Because a society that understands vibrational navigation no longer needs external authority. Religion loses monopoly over salvation. Politics loses monopoly over change. Economics loses monopoly over survival. Freedom becomes intrinsic. To those in power, such freedom looks like chaos. To the awakened, it is divine order. This truth is ancient. Every sacred text, stripped of dogma, whispers the same message. The world is projection, consciousness is creator. Christ called it faith. The Buddha called it awakening. The physicist calls it quantum superposition. All point toward the same principle: reality responds to consciousness. Yet you are conditioned to doubt this, to believe you are small, to seek authority outside yourself. Because a mind that doubts its power sustains the structures that feed on that doubt. Every advertisement, every headline, every ideology plays one hidden note. You are not enough, but you are the entire orchestra. The deeper irony is that the controllers use this knowledge themselves. They harness collective emotion to steer timelines, wars, crises, distractions, because fear synchronizes mass consciousness to realities that serve them. But even this manipulation can only persist while humanity remains unaware of its own vibrational steering wheel. Once you reclaim that wheel, everything changes. You no longer wait for better worlds, you move into them. In this framework, healing, prosperity, and peace are not miracles. They are natural outcomes of tuning to their respective frequencies. A healed body is not created, it is selected. The version of you that is whole already exists. When your beliefs and emotions match its vibration, you merge with that reality. The same applies to relationships, success, and every human endeavor. Imagine treating life like art, your consciousness painting with frequencies instead of colors. What masterpiece would you compose if you knew each feeling carved a new universe? The true alchemist does not change lead into gold but fear into love, because love vibrates at the frequency of limitless realities. Every time you choose joy over despair, truth over conformity, compassion over judgment. You move toward worlds built on that vibration. This is the mechanics of ascension, not mystical escape, but conscious selection. And now humanity stands at a threshold. The collective field vibrates faster than ever. Old systems crack under their own weight. Hidden truths leak through every channel, not to frighten but to prepare. You are being asked, quietly but urgently, which reality will you tune into next? Do not look for permission. No government, no religion, no scientist can grant what was never theirs to control. Your consciousness is the key. Reality is the lock. Frequency is the turning of the hand. Close your eyes. Feel the pulse behind your thoughts, that steady awareness that has always been there. That is the true you, the navigator. Behind every storm of emotion, beyond every narrative, it waits, calm, radiant, infinite. Tune into it, and you tune into freedom. Perhaps the greatest secret of all is this: you have never been in prison, only tuned to one channel for too long. The gate was never locked, it was simply vibrating at a frequency you forgot you could change. So breathe, feel, remember, and choose not by effort but by resonance the world you wish to live in. Because in the grand symphony of existence, consciousness is the conductor and reality the echo of its song. And that song is yours to play.